Do you feel like your life never changes and that you're just living the same patterns over and over and over again? You're kind of just living on autopilot. You're just avoiding pain, chasing pleasure. You have addictions, you're on your phone, junk food, etc. Life doesn't feel like you're really growing, doesn't feel like an adventure, doesn't feel light or fun or healthy. It just feels heavy and dull and like there's not much meaning to life. This is a very, very common thing nowadays because there's so many addictions in our modern world, and there's such a lack of understanding on how to have good mental health, how to have good emotional health, how to have good physical health. All this stuff is very kind of unclear for the most part. We're never really taught it. We don't really know what to do or what to practice to actually be well. So in this video, I basically want to just give you a bunch of information that's going to help you to feel significantly better. So we are a very traumatized and sick species. Our species comes from hundreds of thousands of years of living in poor survival conditions, going to war with each other, fighting off predators, hunting prey just to survive. And this kind of conditioning hasn't went anywhere. It still is inside of all of us today. A lot of our evolutionary conditioning is just a collection of traumatic responses that our ancestors passed down to us just so that we could survive. And we are in a position now where we can actually heal that trauma. We're in a position where we can actually turn within ourselves, process our repressed emotions, connect to ourselves deeply, realize the self with a capital S, the true nature of reality, self-actualize, self-transcend, form amazing connections, eat the best foods that are nourishing for our body, give our body what it needs, the movement, the exercise, the flexibility that it needs. Most of us today are in a position where we can do quite a lot of the things that I have just said, feel safe in our relationships as well. A lot of us are in conditions nowadays where we can create that for ourselves, but we don't. We stay stuck within our unconscious patterns. We're stuck in autopilot, stuck in patterns of numbing and addiction and suffering and just overall unconsciousness. So why are we doing this? It's overall because we are not aware of our present experience. We live in autopilot, like I said. Our mind gets conditioned to play a pattern, and it does it over and over and over and over again. We don't communicate well in our relationships, and we continuously do that. We skip our meditation practice every day, and we continuously do that. We eat junk foods. We avoid, right? We want to numb ourselves. We have a feeling we don't like. We want to numb ourselves, and we continuously do that. We get stuck in a career that we know doesn't fit us, and we're afraid to leave. We continuously do that. We keep attracting partners that don't fit us and help us to get our own needs met. We continuously do that. We don't, let's say, read books. We stay stuck in that pattern. There's things we do and don't do, and we get stuck in the pattern of doing and not doing certain things. And I just listed a whole bunch of examples. I'm not going to list any more, but essentially we need to actually become more conscious of ourselves and our experience in order to actually heal. We need to connect to the present moment, to our real emotions, our real desires, our real needs, our own mind, our own physical body, be present in the body. Heal our addictions, heal our compulsions. Learn to not overstimulate ourselves. Learn to have a healthy set of relationships in our life, not just with people, but with everything we interact with. Because everything in our life is a collection of relationships. My relationship to my phone, my relationship to food, etc. My relationship to work, to rest, to blah, 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 blah. Every single thing is relationship. And the quality of our life is dependent upon the consciousness, basically the quality of those relationships that we have. If there's suffering existing in your life, it means there's a relationship in your life that is not working. There's a relationship to yourself, especially, that is not working and needs investigation. And your suffering is literally it's like a warning light that's telling you, look here, look here, look here. But typically we just avoid it. We numb it out through doom scrolling, through junk food, through just going to the same career over and over and over and over again without actually listening to how we feel, staying stuck in the same group of people and friends that don't help us to evolve. We almost just unconsciously put ourselves in the situations that do not serve us, not recognizing that we are actually doing that. And by becoming more aware of our experience through effortless mindfulness, we actually learn how to shift into freedom. So through the practice of meditation, through the practice of mindfulness, becoming more present to the body, becoming more emotionally intimate, processing your traumas and your wounds, awakening spiritually, self-actualization, self-transcendence, through this kind of process, you actually heal your wounds. You actually realize, why am I putting myself in these situations that don't fit me and help me to get my needs met? Why do I sabotage myself repeatedly? Why do I communicate so poorly in my relationship? Why am I in my relationship in the first place, especially if it doesn't actually fit me very well? Why do I get so triggered in relationships? Right? Why do I sabotage my relationships? Why do I eat so much junk food at night? Why am I binge eating? Why am I doom scrolling? Why don't I even know what I care about in life? Why don't I know what my values are? Why don't I know what my true heartfelt goals are? Why don't I know what my true desires are? Why am I actually just stuck in patterns of avoiding pain and chasing pleasure, numbing myself and not wanting to sit with myself, not wanting to face my own internal world? Why do I always need to avoid it? We're afraid of ourselves as human beings. We're afraid of life itself. We're afraid of our experience right now. We're afraid to be still in the moment. We're afraid to be present in the moment. We're afraid to feel the energy of this moment. We're afraid to fully experience life as it is right now. So we have to numb ourselves to our experience, because experience is mysterious, it's scary, it challenges us. Life challenges us to open up. Life triggers us. Life can hurt us. Life hits us in our weak spot, in our wounds, in our unconscious places, and we have to wake up in those unconscious places. So instead of doing any of that, I'm just going to go right back to sleep, right back to autopilot. One more muffin, one more piece of cake, 10 more minutes of doom scrolling. I'm just going to go to my job for a little bit longer that I don't like, etc. I'm just going to keep putting myself in situations that feel heavy, that feel unhealthy, that make me feel numb and dull and disconnected from myself. And not only that, not only am I going to put myself in those situations, I'm going to convince myself that there's nothing else I can do, that this is just the way it is, that I can't change this. This is just the way life is, and that changing this is actually going to be dangerous, right? We're afraid of changing our circumstances because we're attached to them. They've gotten some of our needs met, but maybe they're not getting enough of our needs met. Maybe they don't fit us, right? Our relationship to all this stuff is not working. Therefore, we experience suffering, and we're afraid to change because we don't have enough intimacy with our emotions. We don't have enough emotional awareness. We don't know how to feel them, how to process them. We don't know how to be present with them so that they are not hijacking us and controlling us. We fundamentally lack a connection to what's going on inside of ourselves. We lack a conscious and healthy relationship to what's going on inside of ourselves, and our most primitive conditioning controls us. And this is the unfortunate state of the overwhelming majority of mankind, even though a lot of our survival conditions can be quite nice, especially if you're living in a first world country. Right? A lot of us can have it significantly nicer than our ancestors did 100,000 years ago. We live better nowadays than kings and queens did just 500 years ago. We have heating, we have AC, we have all this infrastructure, the internet, entertainment, Amazon delivering stuff right to your doorstep, etc. But nonetheless, we're still unsatisfied. We're still unhappy. We're still unfulfilled. We still don't feel safe existing as ourselves. We still don't feel connected to life. We are disconnected from our sense of wonder and curiosity for life, etc. What's going on? Again, we have a set of relationships that aren't actually working for us. We're not having a good relationship to our emotions, our psyche, our needs, our true desires, what's healthy for us. We are numbing ourselves. We're addicted. This sort of autopilot conditioning is simply for survival and maintaining who and what we are right now. even if who and what we are right now isn't healthy for us, our basic survival conditioning works to maintain it. If our career doesn't work for us, our basic survival conditioning makes sure that we stay in it, because change means the death of a certain part of ourself. And that part of ourself wants to live. Change means that, well, we are going to challenge our conditioning. And in that challenge, we're actually going to grow. And growth is scary. Growth means that a part of ourself is going to, well, die off. Our old patterns are going to die off. There's going to be a new set of relationships that begins to form. And if those relationships are conscious and they're based off of, well, your authentic self, your true needs, heartfelt desires, etc., the quality of your life is going to increase. The quality of your consciousness and your inner world is going to increase. Your clarity is going to increase. Your fulfillment is going to increase. So whenever you're suffering in your life, how am I creating this? Whenever you're suffering in your life, right? Whenever there's an experience that is, an experience of suffering, what relationship in my life am I not conscious of that is actually leading to this? Like maybe I feel sad and now I'm suffering, and then I go to binge eat, right? How am I keeping my addiction alive? I have a very, very good addiction video. It's called Why You Keep Escaping Yourself. Check that one out. Fantastic. It's about 30 minutes long. Very, very in-depth. But essentially, what I'm doing here is I'm not trying to be rude or anything and just, say, you're to blame or all this kind of stuff. But when I say, how am I creating my suffering, or what relationships in my life that I'm a part of and I'm very responsible for, right? What relationships are actually creating suffering? My relationship to my emotions, my relationship to the food I eat, my relationship to technology, etc. What I'm trying to do is help you to feel a sense of agency. This is a very core part of actually healing trauma, is actually feeling your own power as a human being, that you are not helpless to the circumstances that you find yourself in. You are not at the effect of life. You aren't just doomed to suffer and remain there. We as human beings have a lot of creative potential and power. And to actually tap into that allows you to break free of circumstances and situations and patterns that do not help you. To actually reflect on, how do I keep my addiction alive? Do I process my emotions that lead to my addiction? What's my environment like? Is my environment, is it easy for me to be addicted to things? Like I sleep with my phone right next to me and then I wake up and I'm scrolling immediately. Right? There's all sorts of ways in which we unconsciously set up our life and unconsciously relate to our life, and those dynamics lead to suffering. Those dynamics lead to pain. Those dynamics lead to a lack of fulfillment. Those dynamics lead to our needs not being met properly. Our nutrition isn't getting met properly when we're binge eating and eating a lot of junk food. We're not self-actualizing. Our higher needs as human beings for self-actualization and self-transcendence aren't being met, and therefore we suffer. And when those needs don't get met, just like any other need, we actually get sick. It's not good for us. So there's ways in which we sabotage ourselves that we need to become conscious of, hold with a lot of compassion and a lot of love and a lot of just gentleness for ourselves, and also take responsibility for it. To recognize, how am I actually doing this to myself? If I'm continuously addicted to something, right? In what ways do I actually maintain this addiction? Again, check out my addiction video. It's really good. If I'm always numbing myself, in what ways can I basically help myself to feel my own power and actually break free of this? I can change my environment. I can set boundaries with the things I'm addicted to. I can actually process the inner wounds and traumas that drive me to be addicted to the thing that I'm addicted to. If I'm stuck in my career and I'm going back there over and over and over again, and I can actually change, right? How do I keep myself stuck in this pattern? Do I process my fear? No. I don't feel my fear. I let it control me. I go into my car and I drive to work every single day, and I'm literally doing it like I am creating the pattern. This is a fundamental thing to recognize, that you are not helpless whatsoever, that you are far more powerful than you probably recognize yourself to be. I'm not just saying that to motivate you either. I'm not saying that metaphorically. I'm saying that very, very literally. Human potential in our mainstream culture is very much like untapped. We're not really, in our mainstream culture, very self-actualized as a species. We don't even really know. Most people don't know what self-actualization looks like, what self-transcendence looks like. They don't even really understand what these terms even mean, for example. So that's it for this video. If you're interested in working with me one-to-one, if you want to go really, really deep, that's the place to go. I have a free book list as well for those of you who just want some bonus resources. I'm also doing group coaching in my community. We go really deep there as well. I have my emotional transformation program. All this stuff is really, really valuable. It's based off of many, many years of reading and meditating and working with clients, etc. So you don't have to remain stuck in patterns that don't serve you. You don't have to remain unconscious. You don't have to remain stuck in autopilot. You don't have to remain stuck in suffering over and over and over and over again. You can actually liberate yourself. You can create a new set of dynamics and relationships in your life that help to increase the quality of your own consciousness, the quality of your subjective world. You can actually clean up your relationships to yourself and even your environment that radically increase the quality of your life, help you to get your needs met, and help you to actually grow, which is where you're going to find a lot more fulfillment in life.